Under the slogan United for a Greater Homeland, Honduras welcomed leaders who will participate in the upcoming 9th Summit of the Community of Latin America and Caribbean States, CELAC. In the Dominican Republic, authorities report at least 27 people dead and over 130 injured after a nightclub roof collapsed in Santo Domingo. The United Nations warned of an unprecedented humanitarian crisis in the Gaza Strip, amid severe shortages of food, water, and harsh living conditions caused by Israel's genocidal offensive in the territory. Hello and welcome to From the South. I'm Ana Marrero from the Telesur headquarters in Caracas, Venezuela. We begin with the news. Stay with us. Under the slogan Unite for a Greater Homeland, Honduras welcomed leaders who will participate in the upcoming 9th Summit of the Community of Latin American and Caribbean States, CELAC. The 9th CELAC Summit will be held next April the 9th at the Central Bank of Honduras building in Tegucigalpa with the participation of at least 12 leaders and other representatives of the 33 member countries of the community. In this regard, at least 5,000 members of the National Police Forces and 2,000 members of the Armed Forces will guarantee order, mobility, and protection of citizens and foreign guests at the summit. It should be noted that during the summit, the Honduran President Xiomara Castro will hand over the pro tempore presidency of CELAC to her Colombian counterpart, Gustavo Petro. In this regard, Uruguayan President Yamandu Orsi arrived in the Honduran capital to take part in Wednesday's CELAC summit. The head of state was welcomed by the Secretary of the National Defense of Honduras, Rixi Moncada. The summit seeks to strengthen a regional political dialogue and coordinate multilateral efforts to address common challenges. On Tuesday, 33 foreign ministers and diplomatic representatives of CELAC member countries and fine-tuned my partner documents to be provided during the Wednesday 9th Head of State Summit. The summit will tackle issues such as the migratory crisis, climate change, education, and regional integration. The meeting represents a crucial step towards the 9th CELAC Summit, where the 33 member nations will define the strategic guideline to consolidate the future of the region. Honduran Foreign Minister Eduardo Enrique Reina said that one of the main achievements of his nation pro tempore presidency under the leadership of President Xiomara Castro is to have preserved unity within CELAC in spite of existing ideological differences.
CELAC is a regional organization composed of 33 countries. All 33 countries are present. Some of them are not at the leadership level, but all of them have delegations. What comes out of CELAC will be the consensus of 33 nations, despite their differences and their different forms of government. This is the great achievement of President Castro, to hand over to President Petro a CELAC that remains in force, that remains united despite the differences.
The Foreign Minister of Venezuela, for his part, expressed that they have come with many expectations to reaffirm the need for Latin American unity to face complex times.
It has been a warm welcome to this CELAC summit. We want to congratulate President Xiomara Castro, who has had a very intense year in the presidency pro tempore of CELAC, and we come with many expectations, to reaffirm the Bolivarian project of the creation of CELAC, to reaffirm the need for Latin American unity to face complex times. Under the leadership of the President in Honduras, it will be a very interesting summit, There will be very good debates and we come with the Bolivarian strength.
In Mexico, under her daily press conference, President Claudia Sheinbaum said one of the proposals her team will make at the upcoming 9th CELAC summit to be held in Honduras will tackle the need to diversify the regional market.
And also to diversify our markets, which is one of the proposals we are going to make tomorrow at CELAC. We, as Latin America and the Caribbean, our government's perspective is that there has to be more dialogue between us to integrate and help each other.
In Brazil, the World Conference Dilemmas of Humanity continues for the second day. Sao Paulo hosts one of the most significant meetings on the progressive spectrum from April the 7th to the 10th. The meeting aims to promote an in-depth debate on the global crisis caused by capitalism and neoliberalism. The event, which brings together more than 70 intellectuals, political leaders, and activists from different parts of the world, seeks to promote solutions to the extreme poverty, social inequalities, and the environmental crisis in a framework of joint cooperation and environmentally friendly. In Venezuela, in the commune Patria Grande del Sur, located in the state of Bolívar, the Brazilian landless workers movement started the installation of a camp which will become an international school of agroecology. This space will also include a showcase area for the agroforestry production, a bank of native scenes, and an nursery of native plant. The projects, supported by the Ministries of Communes, Agriculture and Eco-Socialism, aspires to become the largest agroecology project in the continent led by a social movement. Venezuela commemorated on Monday the 222nd birth anniversary of Flora Tristan, founder of socialist feminism. Venezuelan President Nicolás Maduro commemorated the birth anniversary of the leader, highlighted her revolutionary commitment. Flora Tristan was born on April 7, 1803 in Paris and died on November 14, 1844 in Bordeaux, France. Among her most outstanding works are the Pilgrims of the Outcast, a selection of letters, a compilation of letters of the liberator Simón Bolívar, trade union, as well as two other books in favor of divorce. Let's take a very first break, but remember you can join us on our TikTok account and Celestine English, where you'll be able to see news in different formats, news updates, and more. Stay tuned for more news. Welcome back to From the South. In the Dominican Republic, authorities report at least 27 people dead and over 130 injured after a nightclub's roof collapsed in Santo Domingo. Local media said hundreds of people were trapped under rubble, among them a well-known merengue singer Ruby Perez, who was rescued alive from the rubble and taken to a hospital. Authorities also reported that Montecristi Governor Nelson Milagro Cruz was among the deceased in the incident. In this regard, the Dominican government expressed its condolences to the victims' families and explains that relief agencies are deployed at the site to provide the necessary assistance and continue the rescue work. The U.S. Secretary of Defense, Pete Hegseth, met with President José Raúl Mulino at the Presidential Palace in Panama City, aims a repeat threat by U.S. President Trump to retake the Panama Canal. After the meeting, Hexeth credited the Panamanian president with improving security cooperation between their nations. The U.S. officials' agenda also includes talks with local security minister Franga Abrego, in addition to a tour of the canal facilities. The military chief visit has been accompanied by a growing U.S. military presence in the canal, with cargo planes and helicopters stationed at the Panama Pacifico Airport. In this context, organizations of the Pueblo Unido por la Vida Alliance have called for rallies in the capital to repudiate the visit, qualified President Mulino as a traitor to the homeland due to his surrendist policies. The Prime Minister of Malaysia, Anwar Ibrahim, said on Tuesday that U.S. tariffs undermine the global order and urged the countries to the Association of Southeast Asian Nations to strengthen trade within the bloc.
While the barrage of tariffs sweeping across the world in fast and furious fashion, we are witnessing the fraying of the global order. Therefore, ASEAN must rely more on itself. This means strengthening inter-ASEAN trade. We must move beyond rhetoric to execution.
This Monday in France, a thick cloud of smoke covered much of the sky after a fire broke out at the recycling center north of Paris. There were no fatalities in the incident. The fire destroyed the recycling center located near the Clisy Gates, northeast of the city. The material stored at the time of the fire caused a thick cloud of black smoke to spread across the sky. For their part, the firefighters called on the public not to pass through the affected areas to allow the emergency services to do their work. Moving on, the government of the Democratic Republic of the Congo has reported that the death toll from torrential rains in Kinshasa over the weekends has risen to 33. In a statement, the Congolese Ministry of Interior also reported that 46 people had been hospitalized and that more than 200 homes had been flooded after the Njili River overflowed its banks. The climatic phenomenon has caused difficulties for the inhabitants of the city, such as interruption of the flow of drinking water and the cutting of electricity in different areas. So far, the authorities have opened 4 reception centers in the city where they have received about 300 families. Let's take a last break, but before we invite you to visit our Facebook page at Telecir English. There you'll be able to watch our top stories, special live coverage, and much more. Follow our page and activate the notification button to stay up to date on the most recent events. I'm Financial Brendan Gowing. Welcome back. The United Nations warned of an unprecedented humanitarian crisis in the Gaza Strip, aims severe shortages of food, water, and harsh living conditions caused by Israel's genocidal offensive in the territory. While Israeli officials affirmed that enough food entered Gaza during the truce to sustain the territory for a long time, UN spokesperson Stefan Dujarric said the claim was ridiculous and far from reality, and stressed that the extent of food shortages as troop supplies are running out. In this context, the World Food Programme alerted that its supplies to keep kitchens running in Gaza could be exhausted by as soon as next week. Since breaking the ceasefire in March, Israel has tightened its aid blockade on borders while carrying out heavy bombardments across Gaza, killing hundreds of people and forcing thousands to evacuate.
Due to the closure of Gaza and the lack of flour and bakery shutdowns, life has become difficult for us and the children. We can barely manage one meal a day for them. They eat once a day, and I put them to sleep early because there's no food. As for drinking water, we have no access to any source of clean water, only on rare occasions when trucks deliver potable water. We also entirely lack medicine, medical treatment and hygiene supplies.
The family has no income at all. No one asks about us. If meals from the charity kitchen are available, we eat. If not, we go without and try to manage. Living in tents is unbearable because of the extreme heat. Often, I escape to nearby buildings just to sit in their shade until it cools down, then return to the tent. That's how we live day after day, searching for water, searching for food to feed the children, and trying to survive.
Israeli occupation forces mounted overnight raids against the Gaza Strip as a result of such genocidal offensive. Some 23 Palestinians lost their lives. Palestinian rescue teams recovered bodies from the rubble after Israeli forces had hit a house in Deir al-Balah town, which killed 11 people, mostly children and women. Meanwhile, local media reported that the occupation army attacked the Belayah project in northern Gaza, which claimed 7 lives, including a journalist. Since the outset of the Israeli campaign in the Palestinian enclave, the Netanyahu administration has slaughtered over 50,752 Palestinians, while around 115,000 have suffered injuries of all kinds. In Tel Aviv, thousands of people rallied on Monday for demanding a deal to release captives as they don't stand for their government decisions to scale attacks in the Gaza Strip. Israeli forces tightened up their offensive after Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu met with U.S. President Donald Trump. In this context, Peter criticized the government's management and approach to the crisis. In addition, demonstrators questioned how the authorities could sleep at night while Israeli hostages remain in danger. Foreign Minister of Iran Sayed Abbas Araghchi confirmed that indirect talks with the U.S. will start until Saturday in Amman. The minister stated that the upcoming talks were both an opportunity and a test. Earlier, Tehran has reaffirmed its readiness to hold these negotiations on a nuclear issue, in addition to having underscored the peaceful nature of its program. Meanwhile, U.S. President Donald Trump has informed that there were direct negotiations and that he expressed Israel to take part in any deal with Iran.
Our main goal in these talks is obviously to secure the rights of the Iranian people and to get the sanctions lifted. If the other side genuinely wants to work things out, I believe that goal is within reach. It really doesn't matter whether the talks are direct or indirect. Right now, we prefer to keep them indirect. We haven't made any agreements to switch to direct talks because we don't see that as helpful for achieving the goals of the negotiation. If the other side shows real intent, we believe a deal can definitely be struck. So, as the saying goes, the ball is in the U.S. court. If they show up in Oman with genuine willingness, we'll certainly reach a result.
Russian State Space Corporation Roscosmos announced on Tuesday that the Soyuz MS-27 main spacecraft has successfully docked to the International Space Station. This spacecraft launched from Baikonur Cosmodrome in Kazakhstan on the morning of April and carried Russian cosmonauts Sergei Ryzhikov and Alexei Surishkin, as well as NASA astronaut Johnny Kim. The Soyuz MS-27 traveled under a ultra-short two-orbit scheme and docked with a model Russian segment on the International Space Station. The expedition, which constitutes to the 73rd long-term trip to the orbital outpost, is set to return to Earth on December the 9th. And with that, we have come to the end of this news brief, but you can find these and many other stories on our website at telesurenglish.net. You can also join us on our socials. We're on Facebook, on X, and on Instagram as well. For Telesur English and from the South, I'm Ana Marrero. Thank you for watching.